Guys, so in today's video, we'll be discussing about the Manali Kasol trip budget, what you should be expecting when you're planning a trip to Manali and Kasol in Himachal Pradesh. Now, remember, one very important thing is that the cost for Himachal fluctuates based on season and off season and based on the amount of crowd that is coming in and out of Himachal. So, usually during the summer months from I would say 20th of May till first week of July is when it's going to be really, really expensive. And again, during the month of December, this last week of December, the rest of the year it's pretty affordable and pretty low budget for when you're traveling to Himachal. But now, even if you're traveling to Himachal during peak season, there are hacks and ways to go about it. It all depends on, I would say, two factors or three factors. The number one is the mode of transport you're using to travel around Himachal, and number two is the kind of accommodation you're picking rather, and number three would be the food that you're looking and planning on eating along the journey. Now, when it comes to transportation, Himachal has very, very good public transportation. You will find buses going to every nook and corner of Himachal. So, when you're planning a trip to Manali and Kasol, you can easily take the local bus from Manali to Kasol or from Kasol to Manali. It's just that it will take you a little bit longer and you will have to make do with other people in the bus. But other than that, the bus will take you easily up and down and it will cost you around 100 rupees one way for the entire journey. Now remember that if you're looking to hire a taxi, the taxi has to be booked for the entire day, and a Swift Desire will cost you anywhere between 3,500 to 4,500 depending on the rush and the time when you go. If you're looking for a multi-day trip, you'll get a Swift Desire for around 3,500, which is good enough to seat 4 people. If you're looking for a bigger vehicle, you'll get it for anywhere between 4,500 to 6,000 depending on which kind of vehicle you're looking for. Now keep in mind that when you're planning a trip to Kasol and Manali, you have to remember that accommodation is a key element where people spend a lot of money. So if you're looking for a 3 or a so-called 4-star hotel in Kasol or Manali, that's where it's going to be steep. But if you're okay with staying with budget hotels or homestays, that's where the entire trip becomes very affordable. Now, location in Manali and Kasol really matters when you're traveling. So if you're booking a cheap accommodation but far away from Kasol or far away from Manali, then you're going to spend equal amount of time and money to get to the heart of where everything is happening. So in Manali, the ideal place to be staying is close to New Manali Mall Road or in Old Manali. So these are the two hotspots where you should consider staying so that you're in the thick of activity. And at the same time, in Kasol, it's better to stay close to the Old Kasol, which is near the taxi union where the main Kasol market is located. This way you don't have to really spend anything other than just walk out and you'll find the market area in Kasol. A lot of accommodation in Manali and Kasol will claim to be located in the heart of Manali and Kasol, but it is not. So just make sure that wherever you're staying, it is in the heart of the two towns. Now when you're planning your blueprint or your itinerary for Manali and Kasol, a minimum of 4 nights 5 days from New Delhi or Chandigarh is needed because 2 days are lost in traveling from Chandigarh or from Delhi. So day 1 is when you will board a bus from either Delhi or Chandigarh. You take the overnight Volvo bus and you will reach Manali the next day. Day 2 you stay in Manali and you can go for local sightseeing. You can visit Old Manali, you can visit the monastery, Van Vihar and the temples around. You can also go to Vashisht. Now day 3 is when you can go to Solang and Sisu. Now for Solang and Sisu, it's always advisable to hire a taxi for the day so that it makes your experience more worthwhile. If you're looking to take the local bus, it is possible, but at the same time you will spend a lot of time just waiting for the bus on the return way back because there are very limited buses to come back from Sisu. If you're okay and time is in your hand, then you can actually take the bus, but doing Solang and Sisu by the bus during peak season is really, really difficult. You can easily get a vehicle for anywhere between 3 to 4,000 rupees to do these two places in one day. So now day 3 is where you do Solang and Sisu and spend the entire day over there and return back to Manali by I would say around 4 p.m. and spend the rest of the evening at Manali. So that's day 3. Day 4 is when you can either take, if you have hired a taxi, you can go to Kasol Manikaran, or you can take the bus to Kasol or Manikaran depending on what is in your budget. Day 4 you can spend a day in Kasol and spend the night over there. Day 5 is when you can go around, visit Manikaran or go to Chalal and take and return back to Buntar. Take the return bus by evening by 4 p.m. by 5 p.m. rather, and then head off to Delhi. So on day 6 you're back to Delhi. So this particular what I've just explained requires you to have minimum 4 nights 5 days or 5 nights 6 days, depending entirely on how much of time you can spare for these two places. A minimum of 4 nights 5 days is required. Now keep in mind that if you are traveling solo, you'll need a budget of minimum 15,000 rupees for this trip if you're looking to do it with with a hired vehicle. If you're okay traveling with local buses, you can easily do this 6-day trip in under 10,000 rupees. So it entirely depends on three factors, that is the number of people traveling with you, the amount of time that you have on your trip, and finally what kind of accommodation and transportation you're deciding to choose. For a group, I would always recommend hire a private vehicle and go around, because it works out to the same thing. If you're a solo traveler, use a combination of private taxi to go to Solang and Sisu, and use the local bus to go between Manali to Kasol, since you are anyways a solo traveler and money is what really matters. Other than this, if you are someone who's planning a trip to Kasol and Manali, we do have trips happening to Kasol and Manali. You can click on the link in the description. You can go through all the details on our website. And if you're interested, you can book directly from our website, or you can WhatsApp our team. Our team will help you with booking a trip with us. So if you're only interested in booking a trip with us, you can WhatsApp our team from our website. If you have any queries related to your own personal trip to Kasol and Manali, you can leave a comment in the comment section, and we'd be more than happy to help. Now remember, one last pro tip: if you're someone who's looking to go to Rohtang top, remember that in the peak season, that is from May, June and July, I would say, keep 2 separate days, one day for Sisu Solang and one day for Rohtang top, because doing both on the same day is very difficult, because there's so much of traffic over there that you'll only end up doing one, and mostly you'll end up visiting Rohtang, but you'll end up missing out on Sisu. So by default, if you're doing it during peak season, pick 2 separate days to go to these places so that it becomes more convenient. And remember that on Tuesdays, Rohtang Pass is closed, so you'll have to go on any other day of the week. If you're going during the off season, you can easily go to Solang, Sisu and Rohtang on the same day, since there is not much crowd over there. Other than this, if the budget for accommodation during off season, you'll get a room for anywhere between 800 to 1500 without meals, self-attached room with a toilet bathroom attached. During season time, the same room which is for 800 or 1000 rupees will cost you around 2.5 to 3000, and a room which is for 1500 2000 will cost you anywhere between 4 to 5000. So keep this steep increase in price in mind, so that you are prepared mentally to bear this kind of expense. The bus from Delhi to Manali, or from Chandigarh to Manali, will cost the same. So regardless of whether you take the bus from Delhi or from Chandigarh, the cost is pretty much the same. During off season, you'll get the bus for around 1200 to 1300. During season time, the bus can cost you anywhere between 1600 rupees to 2000 rupees one way. And these are no AC semi-sleeper buses. You do not have fully sleeper buses going to Himachal. In Kasol, you can easily explore the town of Kasol on foot. You can either walk to Manikaran, or you can take a bus to Manikaran if you're doing this with public transportation. Manikaran is just 3 kilometers away from Kasol. Chalal, you have to go by foot, because there is no road for vehicles. You have to cross the river and reach there. So now this pretty much explains everything that's there to be done on a 4-night 5-day or a 5-night 6-day trip to Manali and Kasol. Just remember, the budget is already explained in the middle of the video.